Breaking the 1 hour and 20-minute half marathon barriers is an extremely competitive goal that a lot of athletes around the world have as their end goal or short-term goal. That may be you. And as you know, you need to hold 6 minutes and 6 seconds per mile for 13.1 miles or 3:47 per kilometer for those 21.1 kilometers. And as I always say in past videos, the importance of progression, okay, knowing that a longer buildup is basically going to set you up for success better than a shorter buildup. If you're trying to train for a half marathon and break this competitive time in a matter of, say, 4 to 8 weeks, you're really placing a lot of additional stress on yourself that you just don't need, okay? It's always, the focus should always be to minimize the amount of mental and physical stress that you have and that you're placing on yourself. Of course, we have to stress ourselves to run under an hour and 20 minutes for a half marathon. That is an extremely competitive time. And know this, that the moment you break an hour and 20 minutes for the half marathon, your goal should then be thinking about, okay, how can I do this for a full marathon? How can I run under 2 hours and 40 minutes for a marathon? And so breaking an hour and 19 minutes or breaking an hour and 20 minutes definitely will take mental toughness as well as physical toughness. Okay, I think a buildup of between 16 to 24 weeks is key for you to break this time. You have to continue to get that 3:47K pace or 6:06 mile pace to feel easier for you. Okay, so some of my favorite workouts training for half marathons are doing, and you have to work your way up to doing this, okay? If you're doing, like, one of my favorites was 10 1-kilometer reps on the track. Okay, I would start off my, especially if I was an athlete that was training to break an hour and 20 minutes, I might start off at threshold effort. So I would start off doing 10K reps at 3:45 per K with a 3-minute recovery in between each one. Okay, so you're running 2 seconds faster per K than you're planning on racing throughout the marathon. This is a reasonable and manageable workout that you can start off in the early buildup, in the early weeks of your buildup. Okay, but work your way. What you want to do is work your way down to around 3:12 to 3:14 per K, but only giving yourself 60 seconds of recovery. Okay, so when you're trying to break an hour and 20 minutes, one, you are a highly competitive athlete if this is what you're aiming for, and breaking a sub 1 hour, 20 minute half marathon, again, that involves some serious physiological capability and mental toughness in order to do that. But to get that race pace, to get that sub 120 half marathon race pace to feel easier, you're going to have to spend at least once per week doing these types of workouts. Again, starting off 3:45 per K, and it might not be 10 reps, it might be 4 reps at 3:45, and then with each additional week, maybe adding in a K or 2 in terms of that specific type of workout. Okay, also doing like some of my other favorites was doing like repeat 1200s on the track. Okay, maybe 5 to 8 1200 meter reps on the track, and starting off at threshold effort, running around 4:30 per 1200 rep, again with 3 minutes of recovery, and then working your way down to around 3:50 per rep for your 1200s, but with 45 seconds to 60 seconds of recovery in between each one. Okay, I was recently reading an article by Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who, as we know, if you don't know him, he's he's the world record holder for the 2 mile at 7:54, in numerous other events. He's the Olympic champion at 3:28. But he said one of his favorite workouts was 25 400s between 61 and 63 seconds with 30 seconds of recovery in between each row of the reps. So that's just an example of what some of the world's top runners would be doing. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to do that, but to get to that next level in your racing, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable and doing it often, but also really paying attention to the amount of recovery you're giving yourself. Okay, you can't run 6 to 7 days a week hard every single day. None of us can do that. Okay, you have to back off. You have to allow sufficient time for your body to adapt. And a lot of times athletes aren't giving themselves enough time, enough recovery. I would give, between your hard workouts, you need to be giving yourself around 48 hours of recovery between you attack the next workout that you're doing. Okay, I've built running courses and running plans, training plans here on RunDreamAchieve.com for athletes that are trying to run these types of times. A time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 59 seconds for any athlete, male or female, is a highly competitive time. So I want you to train smarter, not harder. I already know you already know how to work hard. Okay, the key thing is here to really focus on quality. Okay, and really work on your leg speed and continue to improve your anaerobic threshold, improve your lactate tolerance. So for an athlete trying to break 1 hour and 20 minutes, getting to a point where you can go out and do, say, a 16-kilometer run or a 10-mile run around 6:15 to 6:17 mile pace, or maybe around 3:52, 3:53 K pace, around that pace, in a training run, you are going to definitely be in great shape in order to run under 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, now I've run 1 hour and 7 minutes and 6 seconds for the half marathon, so I definitely understand how tough breaking a sub 1 hour and 20 minute half marathon is. My best recommendation is be consistent with your training. Don't skimp on your workouts. If you're going to say, if you have a 5 to 7 days a week running plan, and you need to be running those 5 to 7 days a week, you need to be putting in that heavy work. Okay, some athletes can do much better on less training. Okay, there are some athletes out there that can run 3 days a week and break 1 hour and 20 minutes. They're obviously very genetically gifted, but also extremely smart in their training and very hardworking. But most athletes, in most cases, need to be running between 4 and 6 days a week to break a time as fast as a sub 1 hour and 20 minute half marathon. Okay, some other key types of workouts I would be doing is 16 400 meter reps on the track. And again, you have to work your way up to this particular type of fitness. You don't start off week 2 or week 3 doing 16 400 meter reps on the track. But those were the types of workouts I was doing to run 107 for the half. Okay, for an athlete trying to break a sub 1 hour, 20 minute half marathon, I would start off running around 123 per 400 meter repetition with around 2 minutes of recovery in between each rep, and then working your way down to around 109 to 110 per rep. But again, with 45 seconds, or in Jakob's example, 30 seconds of recovery in between each rep. But generally between 45 seconds to 60 seconds rest when you're extremely fit, maybe around like week 7 or week 8 of a 16-week buildup, or around maybe around week 10 to week 12 of a 20 to 24-week buildup. You need to be really focusing on much faster, intense intervals on the track or on the roads, but giving yourself much less recovery in between each one of the reps. And as I mentioned in other videos, it's very important to run the tangents in these races. Okay, you don't need to be running any more distance than you need to break 1 hour and 20 minutes. You have to think outside the box, be very smart with your training. Don't run further than you need to in the race. So get to the right-hand side of the road if you see a right-hand turn coming up, or vice versa. If the left hand, get on the far left of the road. Don't run in the middle lanes. Don't run in the far right of the road. So I hope this video on some of the types of workouts you need to be thinking about is helpful in order to break a sub 1 hour, 20 minute half marathon. Continue to work on also doing hill repetitions, not only doing repeat 100, 150 reps up a hill, sprinting all out on the way up, walking on the way down when you're not very fit, and then as you get fitter, jog on the way down. Again, less recovery and faster reps as you get fitter. Your volume, focus more on, between 20 to around 30% of your weekly volume needs to be around anaerobic thresholds, or around 88 to 92% of max heart rate. The world's top runners are running around 40% of their weekly volume at or below anaerobic thresholds. So again, always study what are the best runners doing. How do I make that next big jump to break that barrier that I'm aiming for? In this case, a sub 1 hour, 20 minute half marathon. Run a negative split in the race. Okay, there's no need for you to be going out at 1:15 half marathon pace in the first 6.5 miles of the race, or the first 10 or 11 kilometers of the race. Okay, you don't need to do that and then fall apart in the last half. Be much more strategic. Go out maybe around 1:22 half marathon pace through the first 6.5 miles, and then focus on maybe running like 1:17, 1:18 half marathon pace in the second half of the race. That's going to help you get that second half to not only feel, you're going to feel much better in that second half. You're going to be passing people. You're going to be picking up the pace rather than slowing down and then being forced to not meet your end goal. So I hope this video is helpful for all of you that are aiming to break a sub 1 hour, 20-minute half marathon barrier. Feel free to leave me a comment below. Again, I understand how complex this is, and I know if you follow these types of strategies and tactics, you're really going to get that new PR you're aiming for. Let me know in the comment section, where are you currently at? What is your current personal best for the half marathon? And is the sub 1 hour, 20-minute half marathon barrier a personal goal of yours? I'd love to hear that as well. So I wish you guys and gals all the very best, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.